All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So we've got another video inside of our scoring series, and this one is going to be on a topic I think that is incredibly relevant to just about everybody out here. We're going to call it maintaining our spine's inclination, okay? Being able to maintain our inclination through the shot, because I think there's a lot of miscomprehensions out there for players for what they think spine angle is, rotation inside of that, the inclination, etc. Let's dive into it. So the first thing that I would say, this is probably the number one thing that I see a lot of amateurs miscomprehend, and I think it directly affects their scoring shots by trying to stay inside of this. If you look at this from down the line here, trying to stay inside of this preset, I'm going to call it an inclination that we set, because we don't stay in this exact angle throughout our motion. We don't just translate backwards if we look at this from face on. So we don't just translate backwards and translate forward just inside of rotation here. There's a lot of change that goes on in how the spine works, but what we need to learn how to do is what is our most simplistic way to maintain the inclination right here. So there's three key movements we're going to get you to understand, but we're going to follow this up with a very simple drill that we can do to be able to maintain that inclination. Because what I see out of too many of us right here, this is what somebody staying inside of their angle would look like. And we're all trying to rotate better. That's one of the number one things I get. People always ask, they say, I want to rotate better, especially when I'm coaching online. And what happens is we stay inside of this angle right here and we just rotate, and we start to see shots that look like this, that are very steep, that come out low, they can be pulls. If we open the face, they turn into cuts, trying to stay inside of that angle versus our inclination. So let's get into it. All right, so there's three key movements that we need to understand right here in order to maintain our inclination. And how do we blend all of these together? What is our easiest way to feel this, okay? So the number one movement, if we look at this from face on, is we do need an element of rotation, okay? From down the line, we're also going to need an element of extension. And then from face on, we're going to need an element of what I would call lateral flexion or side bend, okay? So the combination of those three movements, okay? When I just go like this, if I go into rotation, and then I add lateral flexion, and now I add extension, you can see how that allows my head to stay in the same spot so that I can maintain more so my inclination versus just my spine's angle, which obviously has a huge correlation to how the player's path is produced, low point issues, shots that we might see, etc. So those are our three key movements that we need to be able to perform. Now, this has been one of these things, like when I'm coaching a lot of players online and I don't have them here in person, being able to help them understand how they can create this feel, it's been one of the harder pieces that I would say that I've had to learn how to simplify right here. So here's the way that I would simplify it. Now, if we look at the best ball strikers, I think a lot of them have a very, very similar finish position. And the keys that we'll notice inside of this is, as we get into impact, is the right hip is generally further forward than the right shoulder. So what that is that's me actually starting to move into my extension right there, okay? That, I think, is one of the most important pieces inside of this. Much easier said than done. So how do we actually start to feel that, okay? Here's my favorite trick. So all you're going to need right here is a couple of alignment sticks and your golf club. Okay, so what I've done right here is I've basically drawn an arc right here with alignment sticks around the golf ball, okay? This is going to be a place that we're going to practice tracing to create a feel that we can now start to move into impact. So here's all I'm going to have you do. Take the golf club, place it in your lead hand. So the club head is in your lead hand. You're going to set this behind your back, grip it with your right arm. And now what we're going to do is, you can see my right arm, is I'm going to slide this in, not to where it's jammed into my side, but to where my right arm's resting comfortably inside of this. Now, I hope you're enjoying today's video, and I wanted to take a quick second just to let you know one of my favorite things that I do outside of YouTube and in-person coaching is online coaching. So through the Skillest app, I think one of the greatest things that every player worldwide has access to is you can choose the coach that you would like to work with. This is by far been one of my favorite things, and I think it has helped me out, and it's helped a lot of players out from getting information that is tailored to helping you. So if you haven't tried online coaching, I'd love the opportunity to work with you. Follow me on Skillest, where I'm offering a free swing evaluation for anybody that wants to get started today. From here, my first move is you can see this alignment stick I have in the center of my feet, this white alignment stick, okay? I'm gonna move the center of my pelvis in front of it. Now with the grip, if we saw the player that tries to maintain their spine angle, if you watch this from down the line, you can see how high that grip is. That grip is going over the ball. Therefore, now from face on, my chest is in front of the center of my pelvis, okay? That would be pure rotation. Now, what I'm gonna have you do is we're gonna take this grip, same distance from the golf ball, and what we're gonna start to do from here is we're gonna start to trace this yellow line all the way down to the ball, and then we're going to start to trace it forward as far as we can take it, okay? So this is working on more of an arc model. So you can see I'm not producing any out and up. I'm not just going straight into rotation, and I'm not just going into extension, because if I went into just extension, I wouldn't be able to move this, okay? So this is a way that you can create a feel that I cannot begin to tell you enough how important it is in understanding. I don't think commentators on television do this enough justice when we say, oh, Adam Scott's golf swing looks so easy. I don't think it's that easy. There is a very, very coordinated series of movements that we have to put together. My job as a coach is to help you simplify it and create feels that we can now start to take into the golf ball. So again, take the golf club in your lead hand, club head's there. Right hand fingers on the end of the grip. Now I'm going to slide this right arm in, and what I'm going to start doing once my pressure is forward right here is I'm going to take this grip and I'm going to start to trace this yellow line all the way down to the golf ball, and if I can go a little bit past it, I'll go past it, because you can see as soon as I take this out, if I start to rotate, that is going to change the inclination. So this is learning how to rotate, side bend, and extend all at the same time here. That gives us a feel, okay? So once we've created the feel, now we can get into hitting the shots. So we've got a golf ball set up right here. Let's stagger this. Let's do this in 3 different lengths of motion. Short, okay, which would be kind of half parallel to the ground, shaft parallel to the ground, okay? 3/4, which would be about left arm parallel to the ground, before we start to move it into full, okay? Before each shot, take the club head, move it behind your back. We're going to now take this, move that all the way down to where it's pointed at the golf ball right here. Hold this for 2 seconds so we have an awareness to what this actually feels like, okay? Now I can start to map out what that is. Now, my commitment for me that's worked the best is I always want to feel like my right hip is further forward than my right shoulder, versus my right shoulder, my trail shoulder, getting further forward than my trail hip, okay? That's what's worked well for me and a lot of players that I coach, okay? So I would come in here, repeat that feel, right hip wins, and I can feel the side bend, the rotation, and the extension, and we'll punch one out there. And that right there was absolutely perfect. So I can feel where the hip is, I can feel the side bend. You can see from a face-on standpoint how I'm extending versus staying in flexion right here to strike that golf ball. That might be the very first place that we start for an entire practice session just to start to learn what this feels like. Okay, now let's move this into a longer length. Okay, so let's move this into 3/4. So clubs behind my back. I'm going to rehearse my feel again. And the key to changing, everybody, discipline. Do this the same time. Do this the same every time until you start to comprehend what the actual feel is. There's the club to the ball. Love it. Now I'm going to reset. I'm going to move it back 3/4 this time. There's my field of impact. I can see and feel how my right hip's further forward than my right shoulder. And now I've got a reference that I can reproduce this in. Again, that was another really solid strike. And at the finish, you can see how my right hip is further forward than my right shoulder. Now, as we get more comfortable with it, we can start to add some pace to it, but keep the routine the same. Club head in our lead hand, golf club behind our back, slide the right arm in, turn until that points to the golf ball right there. Feel it, reset. Now we'll let it go. And that again was another perfect strike. The ball had literally no curvature to it. So when making change, don't stay on the hamster wheel of trying one thought to another thought to another thought. Have a clear education of what you need to do. Understand how to perform and how to demonstrate it. That gives us the ability to start to repeat it. And repeating it is where we can start to learn how to perform with it. So here's a station. I really hope this helps you all out. Being able to maintain your spine inclination, understanding the difference between the spine inclination as well as what a spine angle would be, okay? So I hope this helps. If you all have any questions whatsoever, please leave those in the comments down below. I appreciate your support. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.